and welcome to Books Unbound, the podcast where we unbind books to get to their hearts with your hosts. Us, it's Ariel and...
Raeleen. Hello.
Woohoo! Welcome, everyone, to the pod. Today is a snow day. Snow day!
Big time.
You know what I love about snow days? Like when it's a day with a lot of snow? Thinking about all the little children who get to stay home and don't have to go to school.
Yeah, good for them. They deserve it. They earned it.
They earned it. They've worked hard all year. Now they get to stay at home.
Yep.
I think that's so cute. But yeah, this has been by far the snowiest year of my time living in Nova Scotia. And there are parts of Nova Scotia that get a lot of snow. I don't live in one of those parts. I live like on the coast. And so the ocean water pressure, something or other, there's not that much snow. But I was talking to some old ladies that I love, and I was like, this is the most snow we've had in the 5 years I've lived here. And they were like, this is the most snow we've had in 10 years. And I was like, okay, cool. So it is abnormal. I was like, have I just been tricked? Like the last 5 years were a fluke?
Maybe.
No.
But no. Yeah,
No,
and I've got something
crazy.
similar too. Like, it was pretty snowy last year, but it wasn't, like, every time it snowed, we were like, this is not that bad. Like, it never got super, like, deep and stuff like that. Like, it was just kind of a mild snow, but everyone we talked to who's, like, lived here for longer than us were like, this is not normal. Like, this is not how it usually is. And so we were kind of like...
You came on a gentle year.
Yeah, which was good. It was a good way to, like, ease us into the Alberta cold. Like, it was still really cold,
Right.
but there wasn't as much snow. So it felt like, okay, we can handle this. Put a jacket on.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. This year, there's a bit
Just
more
put a
snow.
jacket on.
Yeah, just put on a coat or something. I don't know. This year, I've actually worn a balaclava while going outside, which I think is a marked change from last year.
That's a big one.
You know what? My face is actually freezing. Maybe I should do something about it.
That's crazy.
And yeah, we had another big dump of snow. I think on the last episode, if there was a weather update, I was talking about how beautiful and spring-like it was, and then literally a couple of days later, we got this huge dump of snow, and so now it's all white and bright outside, and so I'm loving it.
It is like pretty. Like we talked about in the last one, it's pretty.
It is.
I do think I'm going to buy a snowblower though.
Ooh, yeah, I'm jealous of all that. Like, I don't need one because people come and shovel our driveway quite regularly, but I did have to go out and buy shovels because they weren't shoveling quickly enough, and we were like, we gotta go somewhere. I had to, like, go for a hike in the snow to get some shovels. It was lots of fun.
Yeah, I feel like, well, basically, because I live in the country and my parents are going to live in the country and, like, are working on their house, we both have bigger, longer driveways. And we're like, let's just go 50-50 on a snowblower.
That's a great idea.
And then we can both use it. And we're like, this is a good idea. We do thankfully have a neighbor who is so lovely, and he has a pickup truck with a snowplow on it.
Oh my.
And so he'll often just come by and he's like, do you want me to plow? And we're like, yes!
Blow away! We need
Please.
you.
Yeah, which is awesome, but I think a snowblower might make sense. But I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she said, if you wait till spring, they'll go on sale. And I'm like, you're right.
She's
How many
right, but
more?
how
many
wait?
more storms are we gonna have? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the big question. Is it worth it now, or do we just wait, or is there gonna be like 3 more storms?
That's the thing. I wish I had bought a shovel prior to this big snow happening.
Yeah.
So I do recommend just doing it, but
I went to the grocery store this morning because we were getting all these weather alerts and everything for the storm, but all the weather apps were showing that the storm wasn't really going to start until noon. So I was like, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to go to the grocery store, grab a couple things. Most importantly, coffee creamer, because I was out, and I was like, the idea of waking up and not getting coffee with my coffee creamer for days in case, like, the power goes out or whatever happens.
Yeah, that would be grim.
Unimaginable.
Grim, I guess is the best way I could put it. Yeah, it would be grim.
That is the right word, Raeleen. I couldn't have said it better myself. Grim. And so I was like, I gotta go get coffee creamer. And then I was like, and you know what else? I'm gonna get the ingredients for my soup. My famous soup, as you guys know. My soup, Ariel's diced tomato soup. So I was like, funny enough, I'm out of diced tomatoes because I keep using them all for my soup. So I was like, I'm gonna get some tomatoes or diced tomatoes and some coffee creamer. So I go to the grocery store, packed.
Oh,
packed.
God.
Everyone was clearly doing the same
out.
thing I was doing, where we were just like last night, instead of going the day before the storm, we all saw on the weather apps that it wasn't going to be starting till the afternoon. So we're like, I'll go in the morning.
Classic.
But now it's really coming down. So I do think I'm going to lose power during this recording. That just feels like what's going to happen.
Just a little warning that who knows what's going to happen.
I think it goes to audio only. That's what happened.
Yeah, we're like on our phones with no internet connection. Oh, God. Let's hope not.
Lord.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Actually, kind of like what you were saying, though, about it's just the ups and downs of winter, right? Some days it's snowy, some days it's cold, some days fall, spring, this is nice, and you just enjoy it for the day. Mm-hmm. The other day, Raeleen, mild. It was like 2, 3, 4 degrees or something. Okay. Night. It was nighttime, wow. Mild. And I realized I forgot some peanuts in the car. Okay. As you can understand, I had to go get them.
You had to go get them.
There are these peanuts. I always get this tube of peanuts at the gas station that are salted. I love salt.
Yum.
So I get the salted one. This time I go, and they had a new flavor I'd never seen before. Black pepper and salt. And I was like, okay. So I bought that one and my salted one in case these were a disaster. I'd still have the trusty salted ones.
Yeah.
They are so good. Ooh. They are so good. The pepper and salt and pepper ones, wow. Like literally absurd. So anyways, that night I'm a little hungry. I'm like, my peanuts, they're in the car. So I go out to the car. It's like 9 p.m. or something. And I'm not kidding, Raeleen. I have never seen the stars so bright.
Ooh, wow.
It was a perfectly clean, clear winter night. So cold and crisp that for some reason that felt like it was a part of the 4K quality, you know, like everything just felt perfectly crisp.
Crisp air helps, yeah.
And I just looked up and I was like, oh my God. Like I actually felt like part of the cosmos in that moment. And I was just like, this is so, so beautiful. The only thing that was kind of dampening the effect was I had lights on in the house and that was causing light pollution. So I went inside, I turned off all the lights in the house. And then I got Connor and we went and stood outside for a few minutes. It was so beautiful.
Wow.
And it just felt like a perfect winter night moment. It was just so pretty. But it also made me want to learn some more constellations because I only know 2, which are the Big Dipper, which I know isn't actually a constellation. It's part of Ursa Major. Ursa Minor? No, I forget one of the Ursas. It's part of the Bear. Yeah. It's not the Big Dipper isn't actually a constellation, but it points to the North Star. So and it's so recognizable in the sky. Mm-hmm. So I know that one, and I know Orion because he's so clear to me in the sky as well. But that night, I was like, I bet you that's a constellation because you could just see these little shapes. You could see these super clear shapes, and I was like, I just got to learn a couple more because I love being able to look up and see. Do you know any? Are you into constellations?
No,
I forget if that's a topic we talked about.
That's always been something that I've also been like, I wish I knew these, but I've never like tried to learn them. It's just kind of like a distant like, oh, maybe I'll learn those one day. So I would love for you to learn constellations and
I remember
I
bought a little booklet. I remember I bought a little booklet about constellations a couple of years ago. And it was like this little book. I don't know where I would have put it. But it was like a little tiny book that just showed. I gotta dig that up.
It's gotta be somewhere.
It's gotta be somewhere around here. But anyways, that was my little update for you. Winter night sky. So pretty. I actually thought one of the stars in the sky must be a satellite. I was like, that must be fake. It's way too crisp. Like it was too bright and beautiful. Go back inside, turn off the lights, get Connor. We go back outside. It's still there in the same. I was like, no, that's a star. Like that's just beautiful.
That is awesome.
Wow. That's beautiful. How about you? Any exciting updates over there?
Yeah, nothing to do with the stars, but since we last recorded, Valentine's Day has passed, and normally Kyle and I don't do anything for Valentine's Day because I'm like, Valentine's Day is just like an overrated day to me. I'm like, whatever, like we can have a date any day. Why would we do it this day? But anyway, this year I found this cool event sort of thing for us to go to on Valentine's Day, so we did that. So what we did is first we went out for lunch at a cute little Italian restaurant, and then we went to make perfumes. So we did this workshop. It was really cool. It was like a couple's perfume making workshop. And
that's very cool.
It was so cool. And it was funny because we showed up And it was like in this weird little building that we had to like maneuver our way to the place where it was happening. And as we were maneuvering our way, we crossed paths with someone who was also coming to the workshop. And we like looked over and we were like, wait a minute. It was someone that Kyle works with. So like we knew one of the couples that were there, which was so weird. There was only 5 couples. So it was so weird. We were like, what are the chances? They never talked about it. Like it was just strange. So it was an extra fun little moment because we had like had a friend there. But it was really cool. So like the woman who was leading the workshop like explained, you know, a bunch of stuff to do with the psychology of scent and all this kind of stuff. And then she was like, okay, here's the first like thing that we did to get into it was she passed around a little scent stick with like for each person with a smell on it, and we had to just smell it and like write down what words came to mind. And then at the end we all shared like what the words were, and then she told us what the scent was, and we did that with a second scent as well, which was really interesting. And so that was really fun to just kind of like get the brain moving, like how do you describe smells? And then after that we were tasked with writing down like a list of words for what scent we wanted. And since we had just gone to an Italian restaurant that had lots of like TVs with like beautiful shots of Italy, I was like, what the hell, I'll just go with Italy. So I wrote down a bunch of like Italy-esque words.
Nice.
And then she brought out a little platter with all of my specific scents, and she did this for each person. And then we were just tasked with like trying to mix things and seeing like how strong we wanted one smell to be versus others. And then we made it into a little bottle. So,
oh my god, it's so
isn't it so cute? It's just a little 5 milliliter bottle, and there was like a perfume calculator to like once you've selected how many drops of each perfume scent you want, then it like scales it up to whatever bottle you're doing, and then
okay, cool.
Yeah, and she like puts this little like perfume alcohol in there, which I didn't realize was part of the perfume process. So it's just like scents and this alcohol, and then you have to just let it sit for like a week or 2 before you can use it. So I haven't used it yet, but it's so awesome. I had a lot of fun with that.
Does it smell like Italy?
Maybe. I've never been there, but it smells like the ocean. My primary scent that I used was called ozone, which I discovered it's a smell that I have smelled many times before, and I'm always like, what is that smell? And now I know, because I went to a workshop and I learned what ozone smells like. So
that's so cool.
It felt pretty cool.
So now do you, like, if you love that scent, could you go back and she could just keep making it for you?
Yeah, you can just order it. Like, you can order whatever
that's
custom
so
scents,
nice.
because I have, like, the recipe saved. And we had to give it a name as well. Like, in order to save it in the system, you had to give it a name. So I called mine Sea Witch. I wanted to have like a cool name, but I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, sure.
I like Sea Witch. I think that's actually really good.
Yeah.
I can imagine that being like a scent online that people are like,
exactly.
I'm totally into Sea Witch.
I know. I was like, I want to make it seem like something real, not something I just made up. But yeah, it's
That's
really cool.
So, okay, so wait, how long ago was that? Wait, today's the 23rd, so it's been like a week?
Yeah, just over a week
Okay,
ago.
so you have to wait another week before you can wear it?
I could probably start wearing it, but I'm like, I do like to wait the longest that I'm supposed to before.
The prescribed,
full
prescribed.
Because then all like the alcohol will have fully like dissipated or like emulsified or whatever with the scents. So
yeah,
I want it to be perfect before I start using it, but it does smell good.
That's really cool. Have you made candles before?
Yeah, but just like at home based off of intuition and what I've learned from a friend. Like I've never done a like professional candle making workshop or anything, but I have all the tools I need. Like I have the big bucket that you like put the wax into that you have to like double boil. Right. So like I have all the stuff, but I don't do it that often. I feel like
I could picture you doing a candle one now. Like that's another scent option.
I would love to do a candle one.
I just feel like you'd be good at that.
Yeah, because the scent aspect of candle making is the thing I'm not really sure about. Like I always just wing it, and I feel like I don't put enough scent in, and I'm like confused most of the time. So I would love to do a candle making workshop. That would be really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I love that, Raeleen. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Other than staring up at the sky, what the hell have I been doing? I don't remember. It's been kind of a busy 2 weeks, honestly. Driving to and fro. Busy bee, Ariel. But it's been good. I feel like I'm starting to catch up on work in a good way, and it's just been productive. But shall we talk about reading? Because that actually has been a big part of my week.
Me too. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's start with what we finished. Because last week we made some TBR challenges.
Oh my god, yeah.
All right. And good Lord. Let me just say this, okay? We're recording on Monday. I remembered my TBR challenge Thursday night.
Oh God. Okay.
Literally just completely forgot that I said I would do that. At some point on Thursday evening, I was like, I should read something. What should I read? And then I was less like, how about the book you said you'd start and finish?
Yeah.
That might be good.
Good place to start.
So I bring out The Hobbit, right? I pull it out and I'm like, okay, I had read like a couple weeks ago, I had read the first like 8 pages or something, and I was like, let's just restart it. Let's see how I feel. And that first night, I probably read I think I read 40 pages. I went to sleep. I woke up on Friday really excited to keep reading.
Ooh, that's nice.
I was like, I'm excited to keep seeing what's going on with Bilbo. For context, I have read The Hobbit before. I think I've read it twice before. That's what my brain feels like. But I've at least read it once before.
Yeah.
I've also seen the movies. I haven't seen the movies in a really long time, though. And I think that the movies did get somewhat confuddled in my brain with the book. Because there were certain things that I was like, oh, I forgot that this happened. Because I don't think they put that in the movie now that I think about it. Stuff like that. Anyways, on Friday, I read another maybe 30 pages. Saturday, I read a good chunk of the book.
Ooh.
I was probably on page, I think I was on page like 160 out of 374 by the end of Saturday. I stayed up kind of late reading. I was like, this is a great book. I mean, damn, it's a great book.
It sure is.
And then I'm like, you know what? Sunday? It's the Hobbit day. That's what Sunday is, yesterday. I spent almost the entirety of yesterday reading the book.
Beautiful.
First of all, I woke up, watched the hockey game. I would not like to talk about the hockey game. So, but that happened. And then afterwards, we had lunch and CJ is visiting. So there's like stuff going on. But between all these periods, I would just read. And I was reading for like a few hours at a time. And it was so nice. And I haven't actually read that much that close together in months. So it was just a really nice way to it felt like I was getting back into reading for some reason.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So it was really a beautiful thing. I also obviously kind of have read this, not because I personally would have chosen it, but because this is part of my challenge for this first quarter of the year to read my family's favorite books. This is my mom's favorite book. And so I was like reading it because of that challenge. In a way, okay, I always hate TBRs. Like I always end up getting really bad at, I just fall apart on them. It starts to feel like homework and then I become very avoidant and I don't want to do it and it falls apart. For some reason that didn't happen with this. Well, I won't say for some reason. I know the reason.
Yeah.
It's a really good book.
Yeah. You can't
If something's a really good book.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a really good book, I mean, you want to read it. And so in that way, though, I was kind of happy to be reading something that I didn't pick, that was just a little bit like, I've just got to read this one. And because I had done the TBR challenge and chosen this basically artificial deadline, I was kind of like, no, I got to pick up the pace. I've just got to read.
Yeah.
It made me put down my phone. It made me just not prioritize other things. I was just like, I just got to read this by Monday. I had a really great time. And so, like you will have gathered, I finished it last night. Man, sad to have finished it, honestly.
Aw.
I wish that it would go on. Bilbo is such a great character. He's such an interesting character. So for anyone that doesn't know anything about The Hobbit, I mean, I'm sure you know something because the Lord of the Rings obviously are so massive, but this was a children's story, really, for J.R.R. Tolkien's kids. And he started writing the story. And then it really grew out of there. So basically, it's a much more wholesome, much more innocent, much more straightforward story than The Lord of the Rings. It's about Gandalf, this amazing wizard who's like 1,000 years old, who is like part of an adventure of these 13 dwarves who want to go and get their gold back from a dragon who stole it a long time ago. And they need a 14th person so that they don't have a unlucky number 13 group. And they want a burglar. And for some reason, Gandalf has chosen Bilbo to be that person. Bilbo is just this little hobbit, lives in a hole, pretty wholesome life, no adventures. The hobbits are not like an adventuring type people. They like to be cozy and comfy. And he then gets convinced to go on this adventure. And it's a beautiful journey of, you know, challenge after challenge. One of the chapters is famously called Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. And that's very much like what this book is like, where it's like, whew, we got away from the spiders. Ah, crap, now the wolves are here. Yeah. Okay, we got away from the wolves. Ah, crap, now the goblins are here. And it's just like one thing after another. But in that way, it's so much fun. It's so readable because you just keep wanting to see how are we going to get out of this one and what's next. It's such a beautiful story. So I loved this. I already knew that I liked it. Like, I already remember liking it, but I loved this. Yay. I had a beautiful wintry weekend reading The Hobbit, hunkering down. Also, this edition has illustrations, which I liked. I didn't love the illustrations. It's not really my art style, but I did like them.
And the full color is nice.
Pardon?
Full color is nice too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And there are a couple of like full page spreads, which I wish there was more of those, basically, and I wish that there had just been more illustrations, but I really love the illustrations. Like, having illustrations adds so much to a children's story, especially. Yeah. And I just really love Bilbo. He is just such a cool character. He grows so much throughout the story, and I read somewhere that they called it like a coming of age through grace, where like what he's learning is to become a better person, but like in a way that's very wholesome and about like becoming more and more virtuous. It's not really like a classic hero's tale. Oh God, it was just awesome. I'm so glad I read it.
Yay.
So now that this is finished, and I loved it, the question is, where do I go next? And I had talked last week about like, not only did I want to finish this, but I wanted to start the next book I was going to read. Well, I just finished this last night, and then I went and I showered and I got ready for bed and all sorts. And I was just like, okay, I had like not that much time, but enough time to kind of be like, that was nice. Yeah. What am I going to do next? Yeah. And I had these two books next to my bedside. The first one is Dune. Frank Herbert's Dune. Second, The Fellowship of the Ring. J.R.R. Tolkien style. Obviously, do I continue with what I'm liking, or do I pivot a little bit? Because I also feel like I loved The Hobbit. I'm like, if I read The Fellowship, am I going to want to keep going?
And is that a bad thing?
Time. Is that a bad thing? Maybe not. So I read the first few pages of Dune. I was like, okay. It seems good. I read the first few pages of The Fellowship. I'm feeling The Fellowship.
Okay.
I'm feeling The Fellowship. But I don't know. So like, I technically have started. I've technically read the first few pages of it. I kind of have to see where I'm at tonight. I think I need another night or two before I really commit. Before I really commit. So I don't currently have a big commitment on my currently reading.
But you're about to have one, because those are both long books. So whichever one you pick, it will be a commitment.
It's true. It's true. They're huge. And it's funny because The Hobbit looks big, but it's only because the text is quite big for all of the illustrations and everything. It's not a long book. I will also say, Raeleen, that The Hobbit, yet again, is an example of going into it, worrying slightly that it's a classic, and then you actually read it, and it is so easy to read. I also don't read a lot of fantasy at all, and so because it's a genre, I think anyone who doesn't read some of a genre is going to go into it a bit like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna find that fun or easy. And I guess I've read The Hobbit before, so I know whatever, but like there was still a little bit of me that was like, I hope this isn't too hard to get through. It wasn't hard to read at all.
Yeah.
Like, I just really want to dispel this idea from our noggins that because it's a classic, it's hard. I think the only reason that we have that is because of Shakespeare, who purposely was writing poetically and is from the 1600s, not from 1939.
Yeah.
Right? It's or 37. It's not like it was a different English a little bit. And so we all think like, oh, classics are like Shakespeare. I'm like, they are not. And then secondly, because school makes it seem like everything's hard. I really disagree with the way that English is taught, but that's maybe another topic for another day.
Yeah.
My point is, if you've at all hesitated on reading The Hobbit, don't. Go read it. Give it a shot.
I agree.
You've read it, right?
Yeah, I actually read it in school. In grade 9, one of my teachers was a huge nerd, and he made us read The Hobbit, and then we also watched the like animated movie version of The Hobbit.
Oh, nice. Yes.
That was the one and only time I fell asleep in class was while we were watching that movie, because I was like, I'm not gonna miss anything. But yeah, I read it in school, and then I also read it one time after that, so I think I've read it twice as well. So
it's so good.
It's really great. Meanwhile, like the Lord of the Rings, I do find less accessible, and so like I've read the first 2, but I've never gotten around to reading the third one, because I'm like, these books are like a little bit more work than The Hobbit. It's like you notice it when you move into that one.
Like, yeah, and I think that's so on purpose, right? Because it is a children's novel. It was written to be this fun adventure story, whereas in The Lord of the Rings, he's like, I'm now gonna go into my lore.
Like, you worked hard on that lore, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, well, that's my what I've read and what I'm currently reading. What about you?
Well. You gave yourself a little challenge in the last episode, and so did I. I said that I wanted to finish reading Les Mis by the end of February. Well, my friends, it is currently February 23rd, and I finished it. A little noise for me. But yes, So this is going to be my review of Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, which was translated by Julie Rose and narrated by George Guidal. Victor Hugo was a French romantic author, poet, essayist, playwright, journalist, human rights activist, and politician. His most famous works are his novels The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables, published in 1831 and 1862 respectively. He was born in 1802 and passed away in 1885 at the age of 83. He was given a state funeral in the Pantheon of Paris, which was attended by over 2 million people, the largest in French history. This was obviously a very epic read.
What a brick. That's crazy.
It's actually huge. So this book, if you take out all the like notes and appendices and stuff, it's around 1,200 pages, but there are some editions where it's like 1,400. It just depends on which one you've got. But I also wanted to start out by saying that I did listen to this on audiobook in its entirety. And the one I listened to, I got it off of Libro FM, and it was narrated by a guy named George Guidal, and he was awesome. I really enjoyed his narration.
Nice.
It made it an easy book to read. Not easy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This edition is translated by Christine Donoher, but this is not what I read. I listened to the audiobook, which that version was translated by Julie Rose. So I did flip through this like to find what page I was on quite often and saw like differences in the text. So I don't know about this translation, but this edition was also illustrated by, I think it was Gillian Tamaki. Yeah, this is all illustrated by Gillian Tamaki, which is so cool. This is the Penguin Penguin Deluxe Classics edition. So this book has been a long time coming. As I've mentioned before, I got really into Les Mis when the movie came out in 2012. So in my last year, our last year of high school, I was like, I love everything about this. I need to read it. I read the first 400 pages and bailed because I was like, this is crazy.
That's still so far to get in.
I think it's pretty impressive. Yeah. But then I didn't touch it for, 14 years. And I finally decided this year, or I guess at the end of December, it's time to read this book finally. And yeah, it was a journey. Overall, I did enjoy it quite a bit, but there are some things that like took away from it for me, which I will get to. So essentially this is...
Don't worry, we'll be getting to that.
We will get there. So this story mainly focuses on a man named Jean Valjean. And at the beginning of the story, we know him as... He's basically like, he got out of prison. He was in prison for a while because he stole a loaf of bread. And that's all we really know about his crime and like what is going on.
Is that such a crime?
Exactly. That is kind of the point. Like that is part of the point of the whole book, is that like he is then hunted down by this specific police officer who's like obsessed with catching him because he just thinks that he's like this horrible criminal, this terrible guy who keeps getting away with things. And he's like, literally, I was just trying to stay alive. And then meanwhile, throughout the book...
Is this the plot of Aladdin?
A little bit. But you follow Jean Valjean through this entire book. Like, there are so many characters, but he really is the main character. And you see him go through, he's like constantly like hiding his identity to try and like he be a good person, but then he like gets found out and has to like run away to go somewhere else and like assume a new identity. So it's this very like epic story about him, but there's all these side characters that like really flesh out the story. So you've got this young girl named Cosette. She's the other kind of main character, and she was the child of a woman named Fantine, who is a big character in the early part of the book, not so much later on, but she had this daughter out of wedlock, essentially, and she was unable to work and keep her daughter, and so she had to, like, send her daughter away so she could work, and then things just start falling apart, and it kind of just goes to show how, like, the justice system has problems, the way women were treated had problems, like, the education system had problems, so, like, this is a very, like, societal kind of book. Like, Victor Hugo is like, I want to like show you what's wrong with French society at this time in history, and I think that he really did that. But it is also like, it has moments of hope and beautiful moments of like love, and like the importance of love and compassion is kind of another big theme in this book. And so meanwhile, like, there's so many terrible things happening, but it's like, but also there's this, like, there's still hope and love and like beauty to be had and to be seen, even though it seems like everything is grim and dark and horrible. So yeah, it was a very like multifaceted kind of book. Like, it has a lot going on. But to bring back the things that I didn't like about the book, over a quarter of this book is, what did they say on I actually wrote this down because it was on Wikipedia. Over a quarter of the novel is made up of digressions. So there's like most of the book, 3/4 of the book is the story of these characters that I've been telling you about, and like the French Revolution and everything that's going on. The other 1/4 of this book is random essays about French life and like what was going on at the time. Like I've mentioned a few times, the most iconic one I think is that there's like 50 pages just about the Battle of Waterloo. There's many pages about the sewer system of Paris. There's like an entire essay about slang and just like the way that some people talk, and it just like it has value. Like, I'm not saying
mon Dieu.
Oh mon Dieu, indeed. It was like, wow, why am I listening to this right now? The sewer system one, like, it was funny because I was waiting for that the whole time. It's near the end, and so I was like, where's the sewer system part I've heard so much about? And then it came, and I was like, the timing of it couldn't have been more hilarious too, because there was like this really devastating epic scene, and then it was like, all right, now let me tell you about the sewer system of Paris. And it was like, Victor, why now?
Was it interesting?
Not really, like, not to me. I'm sure people would find it interesting, but I was like, I don't see what, like, just because there's going to be a scene now where Jean Valjean is like running through the sewers, so it's kind of like, now we understand how they work, and now here's the scene where I was like, I could have done without that. Like,
was that novel serialized?
I can't remember. It might have been. It might have been.
It sounds like something that's serialized.
Yeah. But can you imagine, like, one week you're just like ready to hear how the story's progressing, and then it's like, oh no, after that epic battle, we're gonna hear about the sewer.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so I understand why it's such a classic. It's an epic book that I think, like, I would recommend if you're interested in it at all. Do check it out, because it has a lot of wonderful qualities, but be warned that it does also have a lot of meandering parts. So I mean, in some cases I'm like, maybe reading an abridged version might not be a crime in terms of this
That's
book,
interesting.
which I never usually feel, but I'm like, I do think that these bits could have been cut out, and I assume when a book is abridged, it probably is those parts that were cut out.
That's really, really fascinating. My quick research here says that it was serialized, but I need more time to actually look into that. There's another book that, I was just talking about it with CJ, the Gulag Archipelago, I think. I think that book is really, really long. The author offered unabridged version.
Oh, wow.
The author did their own abridgment where they were like, I've worked with the publisher to create a shorter version of my own book because I get that it's too long. And he's like, and I wrote it because I want to share what happened in those prison camps. But I also want like there to be a shorter version available for people who don't want to read that much about the topic. So that's interesting as like a little hack to be like, get the author to do the abridged. Then it feels more efficient.
That does seem really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah,
Okay.
so I finished that book and I feel very accomplished. And now I do want to check out the most recent like BBC adaptation that was made. Because I've heard good things about that. And I do want to watch it, although it's not a musical. So I'm like, I don't know. I think the things I like the most about Les Mis are the musical elements, because that's what's most familiar to me. Like, actually, during the, like, epic scene that's close to the end there, I was, like, singing the songs in my head, because I was like, do you hear the people sing? I was like, oh my god, it's so epic. And, like, I could just picture it all in my head. So, yeah, I'm very much a musical girly when it comes to Les Mis. But anyway, it was great. It was a long journey. It was great. I recommend listening to it on audio. That was a good way to go. Okay.
Wow.
Well,
good job, Raeleen.
Thank you very much.
Good job. I shake your hand.
Very good.
Shake your hand.
Well, I did also finish a couple of other books, so let me dive into that. So after Les Mis, of course, I needed something quick, snappy, easy to read. So I read Gumshoe by Brenna Thumler. Brenna Thumler is an American author and illustrator, best known for her Sheets trilogy. She also illustrated the 2017 graphic novel adaptation of Anne of Green Gables, which was adapted by Mariah Marsden. Gumshoe is a middle-grade graphic novel set in the gossipy town of Stony Lonesome, which focuses on a shy girl named Willa and a spunky group of runaways. This, obviously, I knew was going to be awesome. Art style, 1000 out of 10, like, so beautiful. The color palettes, a lot of pink in this, which I really loved. But this one essentially follows a young girl named Willa who wants more than anything to become a mail woman. Like, she wants to deliver mail. That's her passion. She loves the mail system. She finds it so beautiful. She's very shy. She has crippling social anxiety. She can like barely talk to people who aren't in her family. And so she just loves the system of the mail. She's like, I could just walk around. I don't have to talk to people. Like, that would just be lovely. And so that's like the main focus of the book is her. And at the beginning of the book, though, there's a bit of a misunderstanding that causes her to go on the run. Because there is this outlaw who is stealing people's mail. She has been taking like birthday cards and cards out of people's mailboxes, and everyone's like, we have to catch her. And something happens where the mailman thinks that Willa is this person. And so she goes on the run and she ends up joining this group of runaways who call themselves the Gumshoe Gang. And they are all basically kind of undercover, pretending to be mail men, like mail women. And they're like trying to steal the cards before this person can steal them. And then they resend them to the people once she's like moved on to another town. It's all very convoluted. But that's basically the plot. It's like all about mail, and bubblegum is kind of like a big thing in the book too. And like, so the pink color palette really feels fitting.
Okay.
And all of the mailmen are like dressed like cowboys, kind of like they have these cute little outfits that are like pink. They have a little cowboy hat on, and the mailman in this town also has a cat that is like his familiar. Like, he's always just walking around with him, and he also has a cowboy hat on. It's amazing. It's kind of like campy almost, like, because it's like this town is very like Western, like everybody feels like they're a cowboy, which is really fun.
Yeah.
But they all have these like specific cute little outfits. And then there's also a lot of cats in this book, which I really loved. Like, there's a part where they go to like a town fair, and there's this like celebrity cat singer who's literally just a little cat, but he's like famous and everybody loves him. And they walk in and there's like a sea of cats all watching him perform, and I was like, what am I reading right now? This is awesome. So this is very much a cat book, as well as being like a Western and a cute story about friendship. Like this, you know, friendship and kind of overcoming your fears are two of the big themes in this book. So it was lovely, it was very cute, and it was awesome. So highly recommend that. Highly recommend that. But then
Brenna.
I did finish one other book, which I also...
You were on fire.
I know. I've been sick for the past couple of weeks, so I've just been laying around reading. Honestly, like that's...
Yeah.
I've been like, I don't have the energy to do anything else, so that's what I've been doing. So finally, I have finished Underground, The Tokyo Gas Attack and the Japanese Psyche, which is by Haruki Murakami, translated by Alfred Birnbaum and Philip Gabriel. Haruki Murakami was born in Kyoto, Japan in 1949 and still continues to publish works of fiction and nonfiction today at the age of 77. Underground was originally published in Japan in 1997 and is made up of interviews that Murakami conducted with over 60 victims of the attack. It was generally well received, but was seen as one-sided by many, as it didn't include any perspectives from the perpetrators of the attack. He later published The Place That Was Promised, which expanded on Underground, but instead was made up of interviews with the cult members. The English translation was published in 2000 and includes both books, though the commuter interviews were heavily abridged, from over 60 down to 34. I finally finished this. I've been reading it for a while now. I've just been slowly trucking my way through it. But then once I finished reading Les Mis, I was freed up from audiobooks, so I decided to start listening to this on audio. And that helped me read it a little bit more consistently, because it feels like the right kind of, I love listening to nonfiction on audiobook. Specifically true crime seems like I only want to listen to it on audio. I find it very hard to read on the page for some reason. So I switched to the audiobook and was able to finish it in just a matter of days. As you can see, I tabbed this one like crazy, lots of really interesting and powerful parts. Yeah, so this, like I said in the info bit there are over 30 interviews with people who were in the subway the day that this happened. So essentially, the whole thing behind this book is that there was 5 cult members went and released poison gas, sarin gas, which apparently is 26 times more deadly than cyanide. So very, very intense. They released it on the subway in the morning when everyone is commuting to work. So tons and tons of people were affected by this. And so Murakami decided to do interviews with as many people as would talk to him, essentially. And they published them. And it was, it's pretty harrowing stuff. Pretty hard read, but also very beautiful. And like the title implies, like the Japanese psyche is something that he was trying to like figure out through doing all these interviews. Like he wanted to figure out, how are people feeling about this? How are people feeling like by the way that things were handled? Because like ambulances were not coming quickly enough. So people were having to like go, take things their own way and like go, flagging down vans to like take people to the hospitals and stuff. So like a lot of people were not impressed with the way things were handled. But then you're also seeing like how people are just feeling in general, like symptoms that are happening afterwards. There were some people who passed away who the interviews were actually done with their wife or their parents. And so those ones were especially sad to read, but it was so fascinating.
Was it an act of random terrorism, or was it
pretty much. Yeah. Because then
I see. Wow.
What I didn't realize when I started reading this is that the last quarter of the book is interviews with people who are part of the cult. Not people who perpetrated the attack, but other people who were in the cult who have
that's
left.
Scary.
Yeah, it is quite spooky. And so they kind of explain the mindset of the cult and what things were like there. And a lot of them are I don't understand why this happened. Why did we go from where we were just everything seemed good to being a violent attack like this? And so it is something that was just kind of why did this happen? A lot of people don't understand why it happened. So so that was interesting. But yeah, fascinating book. I kind of wish that it had been just interviews with the people who were victims of the attack. I didn't really care that much about hearing from the cult members. It did add a little bit of an interesting, it rounded it out, I guess, but I was I didn't really need it to be rounded out. I just wanted those people's stories, and a lot of them were cut out for the English version, which sucks. So
interesting.
It is what it is, but overall I really enjoyed it. So I'm glad that I finally read this. This one's been on my shelf for quite a while now. I've been kind of scared to read it because I knew it was going to be kind of a tough read, but it was well worth reading, and it taught me a bit about Japanese history that I didn't know anything about.
Totally.
And of course, because it's written by Murakami, he's a very talented writer, so his interviews were very interesting and well conducted. He also has an essay at the end of the book, and then an afterword to the second part of the book too. So yeah, it was really good. Glad that I read it, but yeah, no, so
sad but good.
Sad but good. Yeah, and now I'm kind of not reading anything because I just finished that yesterday. So I'm in a similar boat too now, where I'm what do I read? Except I don't have a TBR, so I'm I feel liberated. I feel free.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
I'm excited.
I feel I'm being pulled in many directions because obviously I should keep going with my TBR. I've done 1 of 4. I can't just give up now.
No,
I don't want to
give
up. I think it's a cool challenge. I want to read these 4 books. But on the other hand, there's lots of books that if I wasn't going to read those, I would be reading completely different books.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So I do feel you. Where could the shifts take me? I will say I have not listened to any more of the Margaret Atwood audiobook, which I guess I haven't mentioned in a while.
Forgot about that.
I listened to some of it. Okay, with The Hobbit, every day I was like, I'm so excited to read The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
With Margaret Atwood, I would literally forget I was reading it until the next time I went to the gym. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I have to listen to the Margaret Atwood thing. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to listen to it then. So then I would just listen to a podcast. But then I felt like I couldn't listen to a different audiobook because I felt like that was the audiobook I was listening to. So basically I've decided to break up with that audiobook. It's done to me. It's dead to me.
That's good.
I love Maggie. I love the concept of Margaret Atwood, but I don't need that book right now.
Yeah.
And so I also feel like I don't know what audiobook I want to read. And I don't want to read any of the books from my family on audio.
Yeah.
Those don't feel like the right move. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. It's like you gotta have your hands on the book. You gotta be able to annotate it if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that was another thing that I didn't really like about this copy of The Hobbit, which because of the illustrations, they used a very shiny paper.
Glossy kind of, yeah.
Glossy, Raeleen. Exactly right. And so you can't annotate on this. You could use a pencil, but it's like the kind of like shiny.
Yeah.
No, it's
I know what you mean. There's something that you just can't put
It's just wrong.
writing
It's just
utensils
totally
to that kind of paper.
No. Absolutely not. Okay, well then, let's talk about new books because we have a little bit of stuff to haul. I actually only have one book to haul.
Okay.
And it was a pre-order, and I finally picked it up. Gumshoe by Brenna
very
Thumlin.
good.
I got the paperback though. I didn't know that you could get a hardcover.
Yeah.
I think
it
that
was
I
like a
just
special edition that I just got lucky.
I think I just saw paperback and I was like, ding! I didn't even think about the other option. But I picked this up the other day. I'm very glad to have it. I'm very excited to read it. Now even more so now that you've read it and loved it. So yeah, I won't say too much more because you literally just reviewed it. But I now also have my hands on Brenna's new book and I'm very excited to have it. Oh, I do see a little cat on the back here.
Yeah.
This looks like her cat. Brenna's cat is called Vinny. Well, his name is Vincent Van Gogh, but she calls him Vinny and he's like an orange cat. What's the name of the cat in here?
I can't remember his name was Dogie. So we're kind of like, get along, little doggy, you know, that kind of.
That looks exactly like her cat.
That is awesome.
That's so
Hold on, I want you to go to page 79. You can see the mailman and then the cat with his little hat. Like they're both on the same page. You can understand his outfit.
Oh, that's beautiful. More cats should wear small cowboy hats. I see that now.
I know. Like
That's
every
awesome.
time he showed up, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this little cat. So he's
That's so
a pretty important character in the book, honestly. So.
All right, but I know you have more of a haul. So what did you grab?
Yeah. Okay. So I got 5 books. There was one that I just like forgot to haul from a while ago, so I'll haul that as well. But the one that's at the top of my stack is Train Dreams by Dennis Johnson.
Oh, cool.
Because as people who were at our last live show will know, or listened to our last Media Tub, I watched the movie Train Dreams because it's one of the Oscar nominees and absolutely fell in love with it. It's by far one of the best movies I've seen in the past while. And I just loved it so much that I was like, it would be stupid for me not to read the book. Like, I loved it that much. I need to get it. So unfortunately, this copy does have the little Netflix non-sticker
I was about
sticker.
to say sorry to you. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to
Yeah.
you. Because it's actually such a pretty little book.
I know. It's a very cute little novella. It's like 100 pages, 115 pages. And
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of like sort of a Western vibe, which I'm really in the mood for right now because of reading Gumshoe. And I watched No Country for Old Men not too long ago. And I was like,
Okay,
I think
yeah.
that maybe this is like a vibe that I'm picking up right now. Kind of like not like fully Westerns. Okay, and then the book that I had bought a while ago that I forgot about is Famous by Blake Crouch. As we know, I love Blake Crouch. Dark Matter is his like biggest book probably that I've read and loved, and I came across this one when I was at a bookstore recently and was like, what on earth is that? And this, I think it was published in like 2010, so it's an older book, but it's being made into a movie.
Just imagining you seeing that online and you're like, what the hell is that?
Huh? Like, I thought I knew every Blake Crouch book there was, but I guess he has some backlist stuff that I've never heard of.
That's really funny.
But yeah, this is being adapted by, like, A24 is behind it, and Zac Efron is going to be playing the main character. So this also...
Whoa!
Yeah, I was like, first of all, sign me up. Now let me read the back, and then the back made me like, yeah, I gotta get this. So essentially, Zac Efron's character, the main guy, he looks very similar to this very famous actor. Like an Oscar-nominated, like, Leonardo DiCaprio level actor. He looks just like him, so people keep mistaking him for him, and he eventually decides to take that, you know, and just go with it, and he decides he wants to become this actor. And so he, like, I don't know what he does exactly, but he, like, starts out probably with little things where he's, like, just pretending, like, yeah, sure, that's me, I'll take a picture with you. But I think he starts to escalate it to a scary degree, which I think just sounds so fun. Very fun book, and should be a very fun movie. So, yeah, excited about that. And then I also got When You're Ready, A Love Story by Kareem Rosser, because as you guys will remember, his first book, Crossing the Line, was my favorite book of 2025. And the paperback just came out. So I was waiting on the paperback release. It came out at the beginning of February. So I finally picked that up. And of course, I'm excited about this. It's another memoir. But this one focuses on Kareem's, like, relationship with this young woman who I don't know how long they were together for, but she was in an accident. And it kind of, like, changed their relationship, changed their, like, what they think their future is going to look like and stuff. And so this is, of course, just a continuation of his story that I read in the first book, which I'm very excited to read. Then I also got this book called Thirst Trap, which is by Grania O'Hare.
That cover makes me really uncomfortable.
So for those who aren't watching this, it is a cigarette in a little Barbie shoe. And the bottom half of the book is really shiny silver. So it's crazy.
The shininess, I love. The pink, I love. The cigarette even is cool. It's the shoe that's really offending me. The cigarette in the shoe makes me really uncomfortable.
The shoe is my favorite part. That's so funny. I bought this, like, 90% because I love the cover so much. I was like, this is so strange. Like, what am I looking at? There's something so satisfying about this little shoe to me. I love it. But this is essentially about, like, a tight-knit group of 3 women who are, like, nearing their 30s or in their early 30s, and they're all kind of at, like, dead-end jobs, and it's just about them, like, trying to figure out life. And I think they might also be grieving a friend that they lost. I'm not positive about that, but yeah, so it's about them and, like, will their friendship stay together or will they kind of go their separate ways is kind of, like, the plot of the book. So it sounds like it's a really funny, kind of easy to read type of book. So I was like, you know what, sign me up. It's also by an Irish author, so I'm always happy to read books set in other countries. So that's fun. And then the final book I got is one that I've been looking for a while and have never come across until now. Both of these ones were used books, by the way. I found these at the used bookstore. And this one is Christodora by Tim Murphy. So this one, I think I probably discovered this one after I read A Little Life and was like, is there anything else kind of in the same vein? So if you like A Little Life, this is kind of a similar type of situation. So the Christodora is the name of this building in New York, and the story kind of is set over multiple decades, but the building is, like, the focus of the book. So it's, like, about all the different people who have made their way through the building. And this book came out in 2016, but the book is, like, set in the 80s, the 2000s, and the 2020s. So he kind of, like, went into the future a little bit, which I think is interesting to see what he thought the 2020s was going to look like. But yeah, and this one, I think, focuses on lots of heavy topics like the AIDS crisis and drug addiction, mental health, stuff like that. But I love that kind of stuff. Like, I find that really interesting and important to read. So yeah, and this one gets great reviews. So I've been hunting for it for years and finally just got lucky in a used bookstore. So really happy about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Okay, so good little haul there. I think it's time for us to go to the mailroom. All right, I pulled some comments from YouTube. The first one I grabbed here is from @Meg8259. Ariel's recipe, or RE Ariel's recipe, because I shared my soup recipe. Love that more than you might think and less than you might think serve as units of measure. It's true, I've never measured anything for the soup. It's really based on vibe. Have you ever invented a recipe, Ray? I wanted to ask you about this.
And I can't think of one specifically, but I've definitely done that where I'm like, let's just throw some things together.
yeah, when you do that, have you ever like tried to perfect your recipe? And in that case, would you ever actually measure stuff? Because I'm like, if you were me, for example, and you had the soup, Raeleen, that you thought might have something special to it, you know, might be a special soup.
Yeah.
You want to perfect the recipe. You think you've basically gotten it down. Would you then go and measure the ingredients?
Oh, I mean, if you had to, like, if someone really wanted the recipe, I might do that. But if I'm just making it, like, why would I do that? Like, if you've got it in your head, and my mom has a recipe like this that she's been making my entire life. And one time, one of my friends was like, "Can you please give me the recipe? Like, I really want to be able to make this myself." And my mom was like, "Okay." So she like made it and tried to measure things as she was going, but it was like, it's hard because usually you just go based off of, you eyeball it, or you go based off of vibes, and that's just enough normally. So
I will say the other day I made the soup again. I put in too much salt. That was a scary moment.
All right,
because basically I just had to add a lot of water because it's like the only thing you can do is dilute it.
That's true. That's so sad. How many times have you made the soup now? It sounds like you make it like every other day.
I believe I've probably made it 5 times now. Yeah, about 5.
That's awesome.
I bought all the ingredients, and I'm gonna make it today again. Actually, I think I'll make it tomorrow because of when we recorded the podcast today. I kind of skipped lunch, so it'll be kind of a dinner thing now. So I'll do it tomorrow. It's more of a lunch soup.
Interesting.
I don't know what that means, but okay. But I don't know what I mean, but I mean
it. It's inspired by a Tim Hortons soup, right? And to me, that makes sense.
Yes.
that would be a lunch soup, not a dinner soup.
It's a lunch soup. It's not a dinner soup.
Yeah.
I
get it.
Totally.
I get it.
I'm really glad that you understand. But anyways, because of that, I'll make it tomorrow again. But I bought all the ingredients to make it perfect. So this is going to be in my mind. Because I've done a couple of experiments over the last few times. Like, I've had potatoes. It was fine. It didn't add anything, though. I don't think the potatoes made any sense. So there's, like, I've been doing little experiments here and there. And now I think I have it. I think I understand the exact soup. So tomorrow I'm really excited to make it because it's going to be like I think it'll be perfect.
Oh my God. All right. Stay tuned. I'm excited to hear about the soup.
That's so funny. Okay. There are 2 things I talked about in the podcast episode last week that we got a bunch of comments about. One of them was about the crochet, about the baby blanket, about the quilted baby blanket that I'm making. And then I kind of asked people, like, is this even a useful size, or is this kind of a weird size to make of a blanket? There were so many nice comments from people who were like, it is always good to have a lovely made thing because it can be used as different things. You know, it can be a play mat, it can be just decoration. There's lots of things that can be used. But this comment was really cute from Grace, who says, "I sleep with my crocheted baby blanket every night. It's more a ball than a blanket now." And I just love that idea that she just hugged it so much that it's formed into a ball shape.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. The other comment the other topic was, I obviously last week talked about some Latino books that I had gotten my hands on, and that I asked for recommendations. And so many people recommended that I read 100 Years of Solitude and The House of the Spirits. And I just want to say I've read both of those. I just want the record to show that I have done my basic homework, you know? But I thought it would be fun, actually, because a lot of the book, a couple other people recommended books that weren't those 2 books, but I actually had a lot of them. And I was like, I think I actually have more Latino books than I think I do.
Oh.
And I just need to remind myself of them. You know, do a self-haul. Every once in a while, you got to do your own haul.
That's
haul
true.
from your own shelves.
I've done that before.
So I thought I would do a little haul for you guys. There are some that I know are out there that I didn't grab. But these are most of, already I've forgotten some of my poetry. But that doesn't matter. These are some of the Latino books I have on my shelves. So the first one is Pedro Paramo by Juan Rulfo. This one came up. And also whenever I look up like best Latino books, this one's always coming up. This one says, the quote on this one says, "Among contemporary writers in Mexico today, Juan Rulfo is expected to rank among the immortals."
Whoa.
Wow. It's originally from 1955. stunning novel from Mexico depicts a man's strange quest for his heritage. I do love a quest, and I do love a tiny book. So that sounds great. All right, the next one, which I think I saw somebody else talk about, is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquirel. That's how I would pronounce that. I'm not too sure, though. This one is interesting. Speaking about soup.
Oh my god. You should read that next.
Speaking of soup, this one has recipes in it. Like full-on recipes in it. I'm not really sure what this is. The #1 bestseller in Mexico in 1990 is a romantic, poignant tale touched with bittersweet moments of magic and sensuality. Okay. Oh my god! Evocative of how to make an American quilt. One of my favorite random movies no one ever talks about.
That's exquisite.
Don't mind if I do. Okay, that sounds awesome. Next up, The Hour of the Star, Clarice Lispector. Had to bring this one up. This is probably the one that I feel like you and me hear most about. Everyone's always talking about this. It's so funny to me because somebody commented, like, no one's ever talking about The Hour of the Star. I'm like, I believe everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I hear about this one all the time. It has all sorts of new editions published. It's really quite popular. It sounds great. Also very short. I did again want to bring up the posthumous memoirs of Bra Cubas by Machado de Assis. This one is really interesting because I hauled it last week. I really don't know anything about it, and now I know it's about a ghost writing his memoir. But I had a couple people comment that they love this. So that was
cool.
encouraging.
That's nice.
Next up, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents by Julia Alvarez. So she is from the Dominican Republic. This one I feel like I saw a lot of people talking about a while ago, and I definitely got this at a thrift store. Have you read this one? No. Am I going crazy? No.
You're going crazy.
Have you read the next one? Things We Lost in the Fire?
No, surprisingly not. I have not read that. I love that you still have the sticker on the front.
Yeah, where did I get it?
Mosaic Books, yeah.
Wow. Kelowna.
I remember that.
Wow.
I was
They were
there.
the best of times. They were the worst of times. Let me tell you. Marina Enriquez is a writer and editor based in Buenos Aires. This is one of those collections everyone was talking about when it came out. You know, this was really popular. I think it's such a great cover too.
It is. And she has a couple of other books that have been released in the years since, so if you like it, there's more to read.
Fantastic. So, like I say, that is not a comprehensive list of what I've got on my shelves, but it did just remind me, actually, I have a lot of great books in this section of my shelves that I was looking for that I actually already own. So,
That's nice.
I think that's cool. I do like it when we haul from our own bookshelves now and then.
Oh, yeah. We have so many books that, like, it just makes sense sometimes to do that.
You gotta remind yourself of what's going on.
What's going on?
All right, Ray, you also got some comments, right?
Yeah, so I pulled some comments from our Patreon as usual. So an assortment of different types of things here. So this first comment is from Kagla, who says, before I started using my mini e-reader on the road, I would always take my book with me in a book sleeve. I'd also put my sticky tabs and pencil or highlighter in there. That way you're protecting your book while it's in your bag and you have all your annotation supplies with you. I think that's very smart. That would be a smart thing to do. Wise. You know what I've actually started doing? I've evolved since the last time we talked about annotation. Well, I have started using my sticky tabs as a bookmark, even though they're a little thicker than I would like.
That does just seem like a hack.
It's the way they're always there. So even if I don't have a pen, I can at least mark the page and like go back and underline it later if I want to. So just so everyone knows, that is what I'm doing now, and I think that that is the most efficient system. Okay, next comment is from Vanny, who says, Polly Barton, the Japanese language translator, has a great essay collection called 50 Sounds, all about her journey of moving to Japan and becoming a translator. Yeah, it sounds so good. They say, I read it this year, and it's amazing, especially if you're interested in language and linguistics. So, yeah, that's a book that I really want to get now. I have looked it up.
Yeah, we gotta get that.
Awesome. Mary Jo just says, can't wait to make this soup. So I love that you talked about the soup again. Everybody's excited about your soup. Annika has a question for you. They say, I have to ask about the challenge with Lena. Did you leave the other 2 books with her to collect at a later date? I think a lot of people are wondering what happened to those other books that you didn't bring home.
Right. So the one of them she's going to ship me. She's sending it to me. The other one, this is so embarrassing.
Okay.
The second one, I realized I owned it when I got home. And so I sent her a picture of it. I was like, oh my God, Lena, I am so sorry. I already own that book. And so don't send it to me because sending books is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
They're heavy.
So you just keep it now.
And I was like, so do not send me that book. And she's like, you know what? This actually is fine because Craig wanted to read it. He was her husband. Her husband was interested in reading it. And so he'll just keep it. And that book is The Orwell Tour by Oliver Lewis. I don't know how... It's because it was a different cover entirely.
That'll do.
I have it in paper or hardcover, and it was in paperback, and it was just totally different vibe, and it didn't register in my head when we were like hauling and buying books.
Yeah.
So I just bought it.
You were in a frenzy.
She bought it. Goofy.
Well, that's fine. Thank you for answering the question, because I was wondering about that too. Then this next one from Satu says, I made a baby quilt at school when I was about 10 for some reason and gave it to my sister some years later when she had her first baby. Well, that baby is now an adult man and the quilt is nearly 30 years old too. It's still in use as a small picnic blanket, etc. It has had many uses over the years. Small quilts and blankets can be very useful. So similar to the other comments you were talking about.
Cute.
I think that's so cute to know that people would still, just because it's small doesn't mean it's useless down the road.
Sometimes you don't want a huge blanket. It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
And then the last comment I pulled is from Caitlin, who just says, I just have to let you know that the promise of a backpack update is what made me click on this so fast. Because I think we teased that in our live show that we were going to talk about backpacks.
Also reminds me, I had made a backpack challenge.
What?
I had said, I don't know if you remember, I was going to modify my backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did not.
Oh.
But I'm excited because I got all the things I need.
Okay.
So I made progress. I didn't finish. But if you guys all recall, this is my backpack. I call it Bug Bag because it looks like the shell of an ant.
Yep.
This is Bug Bag. I want to do two things to it. I want to make it so that this zipper has like a secure system so that it doesn't feel like it can just be opened by a stranger. By a thief.
Yeah. That's a scary thought.
A thief. And then I also want to add a pocket to the top here. So first I went to the sewing store and I got a bunch of zippers because I didn't take the backpack with me, so I wasn't sure which color I would want. And I was like, I'll end up using these as they were cheap and I'll use them for some other project at some other time. So I've got 3 cool colors, a lavender, a yellow, and a red. My backpack is orange, and so I feel like any of these would look really cool. I also got like some little metal, 4 metal D-rings.
Ooh.
That's going to be important on part of my path. And I got this cool ribbon tie that's like a fun color.
Oh, wow,
I feel like that's also going to be an important part of my journey.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be important. But then I found the mother load.
Okay.
When I bought this backpack, it came with something that I don't need at all. And so I put it in a drawer or somewhere and I couldn't find it. And finally, I did. It came with this random laptop.
You've got fabric. Nice.
I will be cutting this baby up to use as, like you say, the fabric. I might also try and use this zipper because it would match. Wait for it. There you go, everyone. That's a good zipper sound. It would obviously match the rest of the backpack really well. But I don't know if I can like cut it out in a way that will make it salvageable. Yeah. But either way, I now have so many good options. I could even make it out of this mesh. That's like a mesh pocket at the front here. I could make it out of the back fabric. I've got so many options for material here.
That's good, because I was wondering how you were going to make a pocket. I was like, it's going to look crazy if you just like have a pocket with some other fabric on your bug bag. But no, you can't go wrong with that.
No. So I am pretty excited. I didn't actually do the fix yet, but I'm on my way. And when I do it, I will show you all.
Please.
Don't worry. Well, everyone, we did it. We've come to the end of another episode. Wowee. Isn't it crazy we've done this more than 300 times? How many times have we done this? 300 and something times?
16 now.
That's crazy. That's a lot of times. But every single time, at the end, I'm like, yeah, we nailed it.
Yep, that was pretty awesome.
Amazing. Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening and or watching. If you are, really, you wish you had a little more content this week, good news. We're going to go and record the Question Vase, our monthly Q&A that we do over on our Patreon. For just $5 a month, you can join the Patreon, support the pod, support everything we do, and get a bunch of bonus stuff. We post a bonus video there every month, 2 bonus podcast episodes every month, live show every month. Quite frankly, it's an embarrassment of riches. So if you're interested, check it out, patreon.com/booksunbound, or it's linked in all of our descriptions. It's on our website, booksunboundpodcast.com will link you to it. So there's lots of ways to get there. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, and we will talk to you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.